From a cloudy Manchester, everybody, welcome along to Forever United TV, your 8 o'clock morning updates, bringing you completely up to date with everything going on with Manchester United. We have big updates this morning regarding Manchester United's chase for a striker, updates on Gyokeres, Ekitike and on Osimhen as well. If you believe the agents of Viktor Gyökeres and even the messages that Viktor Gyökeres is sending, then the saga between him and Sporting could come to a head very soon. But where are Manchester United and Arsenal in their positioning for the striker? Are Arsenal ahead of United? Some reports saying it's United ahead of them. It's differing at the moment. We'll get into all of that and the details of that as well. Ekitike and where we're at with that. The president of Frankfurt has spoken on that situation with anybody looking to come in for Ekitike. We'll go through all of that. Manchester United looking at midfielders still, like we said. We've talked about Hayden Hackney. What about Douglas Luiz again? That name has come up for Manchester United once more. Have United given up on Marcus Rashford and given in to his demands for this transfer window? Story on that also. Bryan Mbeumo update just in this morning as well, and a little bit on Viktor Osimhen, because we are just rounding everything up on what has been an absolutely mental week for Manchester United in their pursuit of goals. And that's what this transfer window has been about at the start of June. It is a case of Manchester United trying to figure out what the biggest problem is. I think we've all seen that they've found the biggest problem. We all know what the biggest problem is. It's scoring goals, and United are going at it in the transfer window, and it's good to see. It is good to see, but all we want to know is, are these deals going to get concluded? How close are we to getting them done? Let's get into it and let's get cracking. First of all, with, of course, Viktor Gyökeres. And do pile in the live chat as well. Give me your thoughts on this. I have got a poll up right now. Who is your striker for next season? Pick your striker for next season. Ekitike, Gyokeres, Osimhen. I'm pretty confident where the vote is going to go with this one, but still want to gauge where everybody is actually at right now, because I've had a few private messages saying I wouldn't mind Ekitike. In fact, Wayne Rooney, Wazza himself, has said that Ekitike is the better fit for Manchester United. But where are you at? Get in the comments section and let me know on that. But Viktor Gyökeres and where we are currently at with him, and it's turning into a bit of a saga. I don't like to use that word. I don't like to overhype it. I think it is just a word that's used to make something out of selling column pages, column inches and clicks and things like that. But it is the right word to describe this situation now with what's going on with the mess at Sporting, the president, the former sporting director, and obviously Gyokeres and his agent himself, and other clubs waiting in the wings, waiting to actually take advantage or come in when everything is cleared. So you're clear on where we're at right now. The so-called gentleman's agreement that everybody's been talking about with Gyokeres and what his agent is claiming, that price is what Manchester United and Arsenal have both put bids in for, which are very close to that. In fact, Manchester United is pretty much bang on the money of that gentleman's agreement. So United have already put the money forward, according to all of the reports. Arsenal's bid was a bit less, but Arsenal are apparently going to come in and make another bid now. The reports coming out from Portugal and a couple of other sources that I've read into today and reports going online are that Arsenal are looking to try and make something and get in closer to the €70 million mark, and where we're actually at. I mean, to be honest, it's going to be tit for tat, and it's going to be nip and tuck regarding the pricing and things like this. Arsenal are still talking to Benjamin Sesko as well, like we said yesterday, with everything that's developed on that side of things with them. Looking at it from the Arsenal side of things, like I did yesterday, it does look like they are completely open to two different strikers at the moment. Manchester United have followed suit with their news yesterday about their interest in Ekitike also. So both teams now in a very similar position with a bid in that has been rejected because Sporting are standing their ground with the situation. Both teams have other options in Sesko and Ekitike respectively. They are both teams well aware, as in Frankfurt and RB Leipzig, of the interest. Interesting one with Benjamin Sesko. Out of everything that you look at regarding the table and things like that, he would probably be the one more likely to move through needs be, as in financially, where the club is at, what they're playing in, because Leipzig have got no European football this season. They finished outside of the top 6 in the Bundesliga. Eintracht Frankfurt, very, very good good side, by the way, finishing third in the Bundesliga. Ekitike playing a big part in that as well. But they're comfortably in the Champions League, so no drama for them. They're just sitting back and seeing what happens. I'll touch on that in a moment. But yeah, both Arsenal and Manchester United positioned in a pretty similar place right now. We're waiting for the next move, really, but it sounds like the next move might actually come from the actual situation itself. Now, let's not forget, when you break everything down, what has been said recently regarding the Gyökeres and his agents against the club. Now, the agreement that Gyökeres and his agent are claiming is in, they are apparently saying that they have got written evidence. They have got evidence that this deal and this agreement is in place. How binding that is, I don't know. Whether it has to be contractually, I don't know. Whether that's just going to be some form of ploy to push this out into the public domain and force Sporting's hand, maybe that will be the case. Honestly, we're all guessing at this point, and nobody knows anything more apart from what his agent, what Gyokeres is saying. You've seen the post last night from Viktor Gyökeres on his Instagram account. A lot of things are being said at the moment, and most of it is false. I will talk when the opportunity comes out, when the opportunity is right, when the moment is right. I will come out and talk. Pretty much Gyökeres' message yesterday, but the agreement that was made was with Hugo Viana, who was the sporting director, and that's what a lot of people are picking up on. And so this agreement is with an employee of Sporting that no longer works for Sporting. And that, I think, a few people have picked up on now and isn't being talked about that much. So it's whether or not the agent of Gyökeres can actually push this across now and force Sporting's hands, because I don't believe that there is anything binding or contractually holding in this situation that's going to make Sporting change their mind. They're going to stand their ground because there's nothing really on paper. If it was on paper, or if there was an agreement in place, this would have been brought up by now, and it's not. So this is a gentleman's agreement, and that's what we always have to have in mind with this. And takes, I would say, don't take with a pinch of salt. These things can actually prove to be real sometimes and force the hands, and it can actually work. You remember Manchester United did it with Cristiano Ronaldo. Give us one more year running and then we won't stand in your way the following year. The thing is with this is, Manchester United sold Ronaldo for 80 million, and what the club stance is for Sporting is, we had this agreement, but it's not the agreement that the agent and the player are saying it is. They're saying that it's this price. There was no price discussed. It was just, it won't go this high. For instance, we won't put a €100 million release on Viktor Gyökeres' head like Ekitike's price is right now. It's going to be something a bit less. So it's less than 100 million. Whereabouts it is, we don't know. The guess is around the €80 million mark for Viktor Gyökeres. And apparently that is somewhere that Manchester United will not go when it comes to paying, or actually the asking price and what they're willing to go to for Viktor Gyökeres. Arsenal are at the moment below Manchester United's bid. So if you look off the bids that are in place, Arsenal's below Manchester United, where they've started lower. United have gone pretty much in at that so-called 60 million mark in pounds, which is probably approximately 70 million euros, around that mark. This is where Manchester United are. Arsenal's is supposedly in and around that area anyway, so you're splitting hairs. Like, Arsenal are coming in behind, but I don't know why they would, if these numbers are correct, going at the same price as what United is now, unless they feel that Champions League football is enough to lure Gyökeres away. But if you listen to what the president has said from Sporting, he has said that that is still not going to hit the mark, and the price is still going to be the same. Now, we've had a few things actually come out in terms of people's opinions on where people actually feel this is at right now. So just to clear it up in terms of where Arsenal are at, this is the headline that you will read this morning. Arsenal remain determined to move forward for Viktor Gyökeres and are already preparing a second offer to present to Sporting. Arsenal's goal is to improve the fixed price of the offer, and with that exceed 70 million euros. So they're looking to bump up the fixed price, not the add-ons on the situation. Now, The Swedish Rumble, who is not a journalist or in the know, but obviously has connections and works in the business, finance, work and sports finance world. He has said, and this has been caught by a few people now regarding the conversations that are going on. A Swedish journalist has said on a show that he thinks that Viktor Gyökeres will actually move to Manchester United. There is obviously on this as well, Viktor Gyökeres' agent, Hasin, I don't even know how to say that, Ekitike, I think that's how you say it. I cannot pronounce that second name there, but we have evidence in writing with Sporting promising him to let him go for €60 million plus €10 million in add-ons. You'll notice that both Arsenal and Manchester United's bids are both hovering around that mark. So they're going with the agent's word on this one. And obviously, you'd expect a buying club to go in low anyway. So both United and Arsenal are in and around that mark already. And they're going with this, thinking that this is going to be rectified and everything's going to come out in the open. But written evidence, why does the club not have that written evidence? Surely there's a copy for both parties. I don't know if the agent is playing a game here. I don't know if this is real or not. Look, he can say what he wants. It's not going to convince me until this actually comes out and we see the paperwork. And it's going to have to come out in official, with official sort of letterheading and whatever it may be to make this work for him. I don't know if this is him just pushing, like I said before, and trying to get Sporting to react to it. But I would take that with a pinch of salt completely again. Anything that an agent comes out with, I don't tend to believe anyway, because agents are only in it for themselves. They'll say that they're in it for the player, and yes, you can see in a lot of occasions that they get great deals for their players as well, but let's not forget, they are benefiting off that player moving out of this. So they're just going to push every single avenue that they possibly can to get a deal done. So the Swedish media are saying that it's likely that Gyökeres moves to Manchester United. The Portuguese are probably pushing more on the Arsenal side. Their media are saying that Arsenal are likely with another bid coming in. Where Gyökeres is, we don't know. He's just completely open to anything. His biggest situation at the moment is trying to get himself out of Sporting and deal with this so-called tit-for-tat and arguments or debate or fallout that's going on at the club at the moment. I think it will get sorted. I just don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a quick process in getting everything done. Is why, but I think it's very, very interesting. And the biggest thing I take away from the current situation is that Arsenal and Manchester United are now in exactly the same position, bid-wise, option-wise. Other players that they're looking at, plan Bs, everything is the same, and they are both going with the agent's price, not Sporting's price. They're getting nowhere near where Sporting actually want at the moment. So, do Arsenal and Manchester United believe that there is something in the agent's side that this is going to come out and the fee is going to be that? If you were a big club, would you not just bid a little bit more, get maybe in between, and go to the club and say, "This, we're willing to do this for the sake of this and getting the player in"? And our relationship with Sporting, we're willing to pay in between, maybe go to €75 million, a little bit more, a few £1 million more, might actually get this deal done. Should United go and push the envelope and get a little bit closer to what Sporting want, rather than making it look like you're fully on board with the agent? Surely that's not the right way to go about it. Look, they may be confident in what they've seen. I'm guessing the agent would have shown that evidence to the clubs for them to bid at that price in the first place. If they're convincing Manchester United, and United are going in with that bid, that low bid, compared to what Sporting want, then I'm sure United wouldn't just take the word of mouth evidence from an agent. There has to be something that's official in this that gives these clubs, Arsenal and United that is, the confidence to go in and get these bids accepted. There has to be. Otherwise, it's amateurish. It's amateur hour, really. If you're banking on what the agent is saying, I wouldn't go that far. I really wouldn't. But hey, look, let's get your opinions on where this is at right now with Gyökeres, everybody. Get into the chat and talk to me, everyone. Make sure that you do pop a like on the video if you're loving the content and the constant updates. Thank you, everybody who already has done. Absolutely amazing numbers at the moment. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. We passed over 84,000 yesterday, so thank you again, everyone. All right, let's get into some super chats first of all and what people are actually saying here. Manny has come straight in. Thank you, Manny, you legend. Arsenal are one step / position away from a title. That may work in the favour as they can pay what it takes to secure their striker and a title. We cannot afford to pay overs without major sales. Well, kind of right and not in a way there, Manny, because Arsenal cannot afford to spend a lot this summer after their previous summers. Let's not forget, Arsenal do have the money and the finances regarding the Champions League funds, the Premier League. They don't want to spend too much, and they don't have any players leaving at the moment, Arsenal. They have no sales going out. I do agree that they are in a better financial position than Manchester United because of the competitions they're competing in. That is a definite, mate, on that one. And you are right also in what you said. He slots into a perfectly formed side that Arteta has created that's missing one piece. And he could be that piece that takes the glory to Arsenal. But then are Arsenal as big as Manchester United? And this is his last move of his career. That's the question. Gyokeres actually sees what the project is at United and could be part of turning it around. And you can fully say that I'm red-tinted glasses in saying that there. I get it. I do. I'm just trying to look at it and say, if he does turn Manchester United around, is it a bigger story? Is it a bigger achievement? Yes, it is. Is there any guarantee that Arsenal are in a position right now where they could take down what Real Madrid are doing, Manchester City are doing, Liverpool are doing, PSG are doing, or what Bayern Munich are going to do? No, they're not. Arsenal have not got a record of getting the job done or getting over the line. And that will play on the player's mind. And I think he will be thinking about this. If United get it right, United have got a better chance in, let's say, in 5 years' time. I know that's going to be a bit way down the line, but actually, let's just say, for instance, Manchester United get it right next season. We get back into the Champions League. I think United have probably got as good a chance as Arsenal of getting far in that competition. Because you just know that Manchester United will go out and make the right significant signings. And I just feel like Ruben Amorim, with the right players, has got a track record of getting over the line and winning trophies. Yeah, it can be in the Europa League. Yes, it can. It can be in the Portuguese league, yes. But still, you look at what he's done there. You look at his record, what he had in the Champions League before he left. He gets results. He gets what's necessary done and gets it done quickly. I think if United qualify for the Champions League next season, then I think the season after when we're in the Champions League, and it's a big if, I know, I'm just saying, I think United would actually go further than what Arsenal would in the Champions League the following season. I really do. I just think that Manchester United, the way we're going, the transfer window that we're having now, we'll have another one on top of that. I just think Manchester United are in a better place for in a few years' time what Arsenal are. Arsenal have missed their opportunity. You could say Arsenal have peaked and are on the way down because they've not made it, and United are just starting to come up. Okay. There is a lot there for me to dissect in terms of why he would go to Arsenal, why he would go to United and not Arsenal. And it is fully biased. I get that. I've not got a problem in talking about it. I'll stand by it. I just know that Arsenal continuously fail. And if I know it, opposition fans around the world and Europe know it. And that will play on the mind of Gyokeres. Yeah, it's great. I want to be a great contender. I want to be a contender at Arsenal. Yes, you could say he might be the finishing piece. But I'm looking at what Liverpool are doing. I'm looking at what City are doing. Barcelona are not going to stay still. Neither are Real Madrid or PSG. There are better sides already in this league than Arsenal. And there are more sides in Europe that are better than Arsenal. Right now, do you want to be part of the nearly? I get that he probably feels he's got a better chance or he's closer to getting towards them goals in the next couple of years with Arsenal. But does he want to be part of something bigger at Manchester United maybe? Look. He believes in Ruben. If he believes in Ruben, then he believes that he can get him what he wants. Greg with a super chat says, hello everybody, I don't understand why Gyokeres is so concerned with the actual price of himself when there's clubs on his list bidding. Confusing. As in, I think the problem with Gyokeres is, mate, is that he feels like his move is being halted and teams are not going to bid for him and he'll be stuck at Sporting. I think that's the only thing he can be moaning about. Make an offer, 60 plus 20, no more. Then walk away, says Ant. Nick says, Arsenal United haven't bid yet. No word from top journalist. United are just monitoring. And do you think Mbeumo deal waiting on payment instructions? No, apparently, Nick, the bids are in. And this has come from, obviously, the Portuguese sources. So that's what we're reporting at the moment. If them bids are actually in, or there is a verbal bid in, and that's what this could be, nothing in writing, because the official bids come out from Romano and Ornstein when they are in writing and down. But there is obviously the verbal bids and understandings that are going in. So where we're at the moment is, again, I don't think Manchester United or Arsenal want to go too far ahead of what their actual valuation of Gyökeres is, which is what the agent is saying. I think that's where they're at right now. In terms of Mbeumo, I'll just quickly bring you up to date on Mbeumo, because there has been an update on him this morning, actually, that has come out, which is quite straightforward again. It's pretty much where we was with everything, and it's come from Christopher Michael, who says Manchester United are optimistic of finalising the Bryan Mbeumo deal by the start of pre-season. Thank you, Christopher. Thanks for telling us everything that everybody already knows. What this means is, again, though, it's another journalist, another in the know, whatever you want to call them, coming out and saying that there is confidence within Manchester United that this deal will get done. It is basically dealing with the minor details. The pricing isn't the issue. It's just the structure of the pricing. We've been saying it all along. And again, I say this every single time. You already know. We've already updated you. It'll be about the structure, how much the first payment is, how many years this is going over, and what the details of the bonuses, i.e. add-ons, is going to be. That's where this deal is at for Bryan Mbeumo. There is nothing else to talk about, really, regarding it. And that's where everything is now at with Bryan Mbeumo. It's just a case of waiting it out. And again, still not 2 weeks in on this deal, everybody. So be patient with it. Don't worry about it. It will get sorted, like we keep on saying. And then we'll be talking and laughing about it in a week's time or something like that. Don't forget, pre-season is not far away. It's about 3 weeks away. And I know you may think that that's a long time to wait, considering we've been talking about Mbeumo in detail for over a week now. But again, just to reiterate, we are a week into negotiations, and that's it. It will get done. It will get sorted. Deals take a little bit of time. It's just the necessaries. So that's where Manchester United are at with Bryan Mbeumo anyway. And they've given themselves time to do this. They've given themselves time to get this sorted. I'll move on to Ekitike in a moment now, but interesting piece that's come out from Andy Mitten of United We Stand. We all know The Athletic as well. I met Omar Barada last week at Old Trafford and asked him if it was difficult to attract new signings, given the perception of United as a club in decline and not having Champions League football to offer. And the answer to that was, he shook his head, adding that he was interested in recruiting players who want to join United because they believe in the club. This is the Ruben Amorim stance on this as well, isn't it? Not whether they are in Europe's elite competition. He said that wasn't difficult, and if any didn't want to come because the team aren't in the Champions League, United probably don't want them anyway. So anyone that Manchester United are concretely interested in would have an interest in coming to the club, not just because of Champions League football. So we know now that Viktor Gyökeres definitely isn't worried about Champions League football. It's not the be-all and end-all. Ekitike is another player Manchester United, as we broke yesterday, is of concrete interest to the football club, and is also interested in coming to Manchester United. This is a given now. Like, we know that these players that United are linked to have got no issue with no Champions League football. Ekitike would probably be a player that would have a bit more time on his hands anyway to help Manchester United bring the success back, and then be interested in, obviously not interested in, but then will be obviously competing in the Champions League and Europa League, whatever it may be for United. And so when you look at where we're at with what Omar Barada said there, exactly the same as what Ruben Amorim said, it's just a case of, look, we know the players that want to come to United. They're the ones that we're going to be going fully in for. And they know that Ekitike would be interested in moving to Manchester United. So that's why we've got that news we did yesterday. And that came from Florian Plettenberg. With Ekitike right now, the stance is as it was. The owner of the club, the president of the club, has come out and said they don't need to sell Hugo Ekitike. So someone is going to have to come out and make a very, very substantial bid to get that deal done. So all we can say with that is how interested are Manchester United? How far are they willing to go? Is it going to be a case of as soon as Gyokeres picks Arsenal? I don't want that to happen because I would prefer Gyokeres. If he picks Arsenal, United just pivot straight across and then go into deep negotiations with Frankfurt. I said last night we're about 2 days behind usually with all of the news that actually happens in real life. So all of the news, so everything that happens event-wise, you probably find out a day or two later regarding the actual hitting the headlines and hitting the papers and websites. This, I think, is where we're at now with Ekitike. I think with United, obviously deep into discussions and trying to find out the details of this actual move. I feel like there is just them with that little worry and concern, like we said last night, that Arsenal could come in and just bid more. And Gyokeres is actually thinking about that Arsenal move. I do believe that, obviously, with Arsenal coming in, Manchester United will know of the interest. The agent would have spoken to them about what Arsenal are probably willing to do. They're allowed to talk about things like that. And Ekitike is there waiting, basically. He's just waiting for somebody to come in for him. But like Frankfurt's stance on this was, they're not going to move anywhere unless someone bids the right money for him. So reality right now is we're just waiting to see what Viktor Gyökeres decides. And then I think Manchester United will go all in for Ekitike. There is still confidence, like I said, that Viktor Gyökeres is going to end up at Manchester United, and that's come from the Swedish side of things as well. Let's get into the chat on everything there as well, give you a chance to have your say on things. Cole says, seems like a lot of posturing from clubs. Chelsea will be in for him next. Now we are in for Ekitike. Transfer propaganda at its finest. The thing is with United this time, and why it's probably a little bit different, thanks for that, buddy, is that we are moving fast, and we have moved fast so far this window, and we are getting on with things. So where I think that there is sagas there, and there is going to be drawn-out situations throughout this window, I do believe that Manchester United are going to try and get to the bottom of these deals as quickly as possible. And that's something that is going to be different this summer. And I think we can, I can be confident in saying that simply off what has actually happened already. Yeah, I mean, when you listen to other people and everyone's opinions on everything that's actually happened, I mean, Rich Faith has just come out as well regarding Manchester United's midfield options. I'm going to go through that in a moment as well also, so stay tuned for that one. And when you look at what Wayne Rooney said about Ekitike, everyone's got their own opinions. Rio Ferdinand thinks that Gyökeres isn't the man. Wayne Rooney thinks that Ekitike is the man. The differences in opinions are irrelevant when it comes to what Ruben Amorim wants. And what we're saying here is, right now, is... one second... what we're saying right now is, sorry, I have to sort something out there then. Wayne Rooney, when he talks about Manchester United strikers, his words were, just to go back on it, because I did mention him earlier on actually, Osimhen and Gyokeres are premium, but if United want Osimhen's younger prototype at half the fee, it's not half the fee. Ekitike is right there, sharp in the air, loves to shoot at any given chance. Pray United make the best decision actually. Right now, what we're looking at is, for me personally, again, like, I still think Gyokeres is Ruben's man, and I think that's going to be the one that actually that's what he wants. I do believe that he wants that. I think it's going to be, personally, Yeah, I'm going with whichever way I look at it. The more I think about it, the more that I actually consider all of the options. I just feel like Ruben wants Gyökeres. Ekitike is a Man United signing. And Osimhen is somebody that nobody wants unless his demands come down. Now, Graham Bailey has said that Manchester United are still in contact with Osimhen representatives. That's it. That's all it's going to be right now. We know the details of Osimhen. We know where we're at with it. The problem we've got is right now is that it's Ruben needs must. What fits best financially? It's Gyökeres. Ekitike, if we're going to spend any more money on a striker, is what Manchester United will go to next instead of Osimhen. That's how I see it. That's how I see this breaking down now. I really do. I think it's going to be a case of Gyökeres, and then we try and bid what we can for Ekitike. That's just how I see it. Why are there Man United fans saying United don't have a chance to win the league? We have just as good a chance as the others, and even better. United only have the league to focus on. Nothing else other than the FA Cup. United can't win the league, I don't think, next season, Mark. I think that's unrealistic. I do get what you're saying. We have got a better chance than the other teams, though, because of that only having domestic footballs to climb that table. I think that is key for Manchester United next season. It's going to be a massive advantage for us as well. Space Cowboy there, not liking Cunha as well. See, so many different opinions. Like, some people don't actually rate Cunha as well. You're always going to have this debate. You're always going to have this other side of the argument with everything that Manchester United do. It's always going to be there. Would you prefer Ekitike, Gyökeres, Osimhen, or Mateta? It's always Gyökeres for me, first of all, Nick. I just said that there then, mate, as well. I think he just fits what Ruben wants to do better. I'm not sold on Ekitike. Where was he last season? It sounds like another one-season European wonder to me. Osimhen or Gyökeres is who we should be in for. Ekitike should be back up if they both fail. Yeah, but you know what European clubs are like. They're bumping up them prices to make them sound better than what they are. Just on the poll, by the way, 2,000 votes in, which is amazing. Thank you, everyone. Get involved in that. Pick your striker for next season. Gyökeres, Osimhen, Ekitike. Ekitike is 5% of the vote right now, with over 2,000 votes. Gyökeres is steamrolling it at 73%. Everything broken down, he works better. That's all we're saying. Given that Gyökeres is 27 and that this will be his last big contract, if he has any aspirations for Champions League football, then he will surely pick Arsenal, as there's no guarantee he will get Champions League next season. Look, yeah, he can play Champions League football with Arsenal, guaranteed. But it's down to him and whether he believes that he can be playing Champions League football in a season's time with Ruben. If he feels like he's got a better chance with what Ruben's done, going off Arsenal's record of failing constantly, even though they're in the Champions League. It's all right playing in the Champions League. He just wants to play in it, then that's fine. Goes to Arsenal. If he wants to win it, where does he go? That's what we're looking at. Quickly on Manchester United's situation as well. A couple of things coming up as we talk. Actually, it's going to go through these now, in fact. Many at the club believe Joshua Zirkzee could excel in a dynamic front three with Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha on the sides. That's come from Pete Hall, a journalist in and around Manchester United. In fact, he was playing in that game at Old Trafford, journalist against United staff the other day. And they only usually invite journalists that have been covering Manchester United in depth to that match. But yeah, Joshua Zirkzee, when people start talking about Zirkzee as a number 9, yeah, I start to worry because he hasn't got 9 instincts. Little bits creeping in, whether or not he can change or not. I mean, for instance, that headed goal against Lyon, I think was striker's instinct in the right position, good in the air, better in the air than what Rasmus Højlund is. Could he work well with better players around him? Yeah, of course he could. You could argue that point for Rasmus Højlund as well, though. He could work well with better players. Do I think that technically Zirkzee is better than Rasmus Højlund? Yes, I do. I do believe that. But it's whether or not he's got that goal-scoring striker's instinct enough to be a Man United number 9. Whether or not United see him as a backup, a number 2, then, yeah, fair enough. That, I think, is definitely worth an argument, but not as Man United's number 1. 100% no, that is not doable. Even Ruben has said he's not a number 9, so If you're trying to change a player to turn him into something else, there is always a concern that that player is not good enough in the position that you actually bought him for. And that, I think, is a big red flag. Gyökeres, I think right now, is back up 10 for starting the odd game and possibly going in at the last 20 minutes or so as a 9 just to do a job or something like that for something different. And that's where I see Gyökeres at the moment anyway. I don't see him as an out-and-out striker. I just don't. Right, let's get into the other news which is going down, which is regarding Manchester United's hunt for a midfielder. Now, there is news just come out from Rich Fay, who has said Chris Rigg is still of interest, while Manchester United are also keeping tabs on Aiden Hackney for the midfield position. You'll see the news going across the bottom of your screen as well, which reads the situation regarding Douglas Luiz. We have talked about Douglas Luiz before, which is in regards to Manchester United keeping tabs on the situation that's developing at Juventus, with them looking to offload Douglas Luiz this summer. Not had a great season. We talked about it before. Possibly there was a swap. We talked about the old director of football at Juventus in another video the other day, actually, regarding his attempts to swap or do a swap deal between Rasmus Højlund and Douglas Luiz. Look, Douglas Luiz for a cheap price, I'm all for it. In a season when we haven't got a lot of demand, in a season that we haven't got a lot of games, I think Douglas Luiz could work for Manchester United in that midfield there. Interchanging between Bruno, Agate, Casemiro. I don't think that them four are too bad an option for Manchester United. If you're looking for a make weight, like a situation where you just need another player to come in of the decent quality and experience for the Premier League, and you're looking for Premier League proven players, again, Douglas Luiz is Premier League proven. He played fantastically well for Aston Villa, which is why he got his move to Juventus. Yes, he's been blighted by injuries. Not too much. He has still played well over 30-odd games this season for Juventus, so it's not too bad. But again, like, why are Juventus trying to offload him so quickly? People will bring in the girlfriend situation, Lehman and things like that, and I don't believe in all of that. This is professional football at the end of the day. But again, if United are hell-bent on Premier League proven footballers, they've brought in two, in Mbeumo and Cunha, Douglas Luiz behind for a cheap price, for the right price, I wouldn't have an issue with that at all. Obviously, he would have to fit into United's wage structure, but I don't think Manchester United are losing out too much there. If they can get Douglas Luiz, and the report going around is that he's available for 30 million, would he find his form again back in the Premier League? Has the Italian league not suited him? It could always happen. And we do know one thing for certain, though, with Douglas Luiz, is that he has played in the Premier League and played well in the Premier League. And that's something that I think Manchester United will probably be well aware of. And if we are struggling for money because of what we might have to do in the striker position, if you told me that the end of this season, Manchester United were going to get a Gyokeres in, and then Douglas Luiz was coming into midfield, your midfield four options would be for the two positions, Agate, Casemiro, Bruno and Douglas Luiz. Backing up that, you would have obviously Collier, possibly Mainu. I don't think that's too bad. It's not ideal. I'm going to be honest. It's not ideal, but I understand the financial situation Man United are in, and if needs must comes to it, and United are hell-bent on making sure that the front three are the most important parts to this transfer window, then Douglas Luiz it is. I don't mind him. I think he's a good player. I really do think he's a good player. Only at the right price and the right deal. Don't get me wrong, like for instance, if Manchester United could get Aiden Hackney at a cheaper price than Douglas Luiz, that's the right way to go right now, because I think we can still spend a lot of money on a midfielder next summer. And this is I'm only saying this in a sense because if Douglas Luiz is stupid money and isn't cheap enough, like if he's more than 30 million quid, you can forget it. There's no point. And then you go for Aiden Hackney and you just accept that that's your deal for this summer. You go and get your main midfield target next window. So if United get him for a decent price, then I'm all for it. But if it's stupid money, it starts to go into the realms of he wants ridiculous wages or it's going to be over 30 million, I'd rather go for someone like Hackney or a Rigg, because they're not going to be as dear. They're not going to be number one. They could turn into number one, but what it does give you is room going into the next transfer window to bring in someone you really want, like an Adam Wharton, for real money. And that's where United's focus will be next summer transfer window. That's how it should work. We do need somebody else in that midfield. And Douglas Luiz brings that experience. And if he's cheap enough and he can work in that rotation with the likes of Bruno Agate and Casemiro, then that, I think, will still be stronger for Manchester United next season. I mean, everybody in the chat, please do come in on this one. Douglas Luiz, is he someone you would actually take a chance on in the midfield? Is it a chance? You might argue that if he's 30 million and he comes in under United's wage structure, that might actually be a bargain for United. Could be. It could be. I mean, actually, just out of curiosity, while you're all piling in with your comments on that one, I have done this with Douglas Luiz before, actually, and checked up his stats. But let's do it while we're live again now, just to see exactly what Douglas Luiz's numbers were last season. Bear with me 1 second. So let's go into detail on this. And by the way, I'm talking about Douglas Luiz here as in experience in the Premier League and United having a domestic season next season. If he's the right price, United are not too concerned regarding the sell-on factor with him either. He's 27. Just turned 27, by the way. So that's, again, the right age, the right experience, physicality and everything that Man United are lacking. Energy, drive, that is what he is. I mean, he didn't actually get more than 30 games last season. I tell a lie on that one. I must have got him mixed up with someone else. 26 games he played last season. The injury is obviously a big problem for him. He has been available, but not used on the bench. So in terms of injuries, it hasn't been so much the injuries that have kept him out of the games this season. He's been an unused substitute in La Liga, from what I can see here. Is that 6 times? So 6 games he's been an unused substitute. When you look at the games that he's actually started, he started 3 games in Serie A this season. So if anything, it doesn't tell me that he is a problem with injuries. It doesn't. I mean, he was available for the last 2 months of the season. He's been available for the most of the season. He's just not been used that much. So is there a problem with his character and the player? Let's not forget, situation with 2 new managers last season with Juventus as well. It could read into something there. There could be something that tells us that he wasn't favoured. There were other players in there at Juventus. The manager's changing all of the time. Obviously, we know that Motto was there at the start, and that changed again to Tudor, I think it is, who's coming now. You can look into a load of different situations with Luiz and why he's not played that many games. But what you've got to look at there is he played 204 games in the Premier League for Aston Villa. 204 domestic games, 204 games for Villa, sorry. And in that time, he has picked up decent numbers. Like when you look at it there, he's got 46 goal involvements in that time. But he is normally like a number 8/6 type of player. So you're not looking at him for the goals. You're looking at him for stability. You're looking at him for that nous, that experience, that strength. And I think he could be an option for Manchester United. But United will be aware of why he hasn't played too much. So I think I've broke down the pros and cons for Douglas Luiz there in detail, to be honest. So you make your own mind up about him. Let's see what we've got in the chat. Let's have a bit of a scroll up and go through a few in here. Is Douglas Luiz? Talk to me about the situation with Gyokeres as well and strikers. Pile in with all of your comments now, everybody, please. Getting Douglas Luiz in, for me, is a no-brainer at 30 million. Playing in a rotation system will suit him greatly. Has a Premier League experience as well. Gets him in, says Dacia Sendero. Space Cowboy says, I have zero confidence in this team or manager. The fact transfers are still the same old joke proves nothing but manager's name has changed. No, Space Cowboy, what you want about the transfers are still the same. How can you say they're still the same? We're not 2 weeks into the transfer window being open yet, buddy. How is it still the same? I don't get it. I don't get where you're going with that one. It's just a shame we didn't get Tony when he was available. True. Plus, we might have finished further up the table. Tony was something that was actually... I think United should have been all over deals like that. It should have. There is no update on Edison yet from Atalanta, by the way, that I have seen. I will only bring up the news if I think it is significance. The last rumour we had about Ederson was that he could be available for 33 million if Atalanta don't find a suitor for him. He wants to leave Atalanta this summer, but there is nothing else on where we're at with Ederson at the moment in midfield. Hayden Hackney and Douglas Luiz actually would be cold, says Emi Prowler. Let's see what we've got here. Just chill till next summer and go for Baleba, says Fex. Yeah, there are a few options there, but I just don't think they are there for us right now. Adam Wharton, Baleba, again, another comment there. True, they're a mess recently, though. New manager will have to wait and see how they'll do first. That's all I'm saying. Talking about, I'm not sure what you're actually on about there. I missed that one. Sorry, mates. I'm really worried why we're thinking of midfield. I prefer we got a goalkeeper and then a midfielder after a striker. I don't think the goalkeeping situation is going to be too much of a concern. I think we are going to bring in a goalkeeper anyway. And so I don't think anybody needs to worry too much regarding a goalkeeping situation with Manchester United. I think we will go for a goalkeeper. I think we will actually get a goalkeeper this summer. It just depends. Now, Romano's actually been talking about Emi Martinez, and United might go for Emi Martinez. That might be something that happens this summer. So if Romano's actually talking about Emi Martinez, then we have got a real possibility that actually could happen. It could. So yeah, let's just keep an eye on that one as well. As we've said before, the goalkeeping situation at United is going to happen later in the window. So don't stress too much about it not happening first. The bigger priorities are what are being discussed right now. Nick says, I prefer João Gomez. He's so energetic with quality. Can you get two Wolves players in one window? Like, they've just lost Aït-Nouri and Matheus Cunha. Can you imagine if they lose Gomez as well? Eesh, that would not be a happy fan base, would it? Interesting. I should actually check in and actually see where actually the fan base is at Wolves right now. They must be worrying. Thank you, everybody who has hit the super chats as well today. Just so I don't forget later on. Sometimes I do, but I thought I'd just thank you now. Thank you, everyone who has given the video a like. We're well over 500 live likes, which is epic as always. Thank you, everyone. Keep them likes piling in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well, everyone. Content coming daily. There's just update after update after update at the moment with United. In fact, let's just check that we haven't missed anything before we move on. Just going in on this now. There is a little bit of a report on Garnacho from Pete Hall as well, which says Napoli remains front runners for Garnacho, having held talks with United executives, but no bid is yet to have been made. He is attracting plenty of interest. I think this is where United could probably feel comfortable regarding the players coming in, because they know they can sell Garnacho, who is going to be He's going to be the saviour for everything that Man United want to make this summer in terms of money coming in. Pete Hall has also updated the situation on Antony right now. Very similar to what we've been talking about already. Real Betis are now doing all they can, in quote marks, to create a package to sign Antony. They plan to submit a bid with incentives, including more image rights for the player and sell-on clauses, as they can't meet Manchester United's 40 million valuation or his current salary. So they're trying their best to get Antony over the line in terms of making him come for the money he wants and trying to entice Manchester United into a deal that they would accept for a fee as well. Not looking likely for Real Betis is all I am saying on that one. But let's just let's just see how it develops. They are doing all they can, bless them. And yeah, I think it does show us that there is going to be significant opportunity for Manchester United to sell players. He also says United will not break the bank for Viktor Gyökeres. So it does look like United may actually be sticking to, according to Pete Hall anyway, sticking to where they are with these bids. Manchester United could appear to be an option to sign Emi Martinez. Just seen that posted again from someone off what Fabrizio Romano was saying. Excitement, yes, please. That deal still would probably be one of my most favourite ones of the transfer window if that actually happened. If United got Emi Martinez in, I would be over the moon. I really would. Quickly, on to Marcus Rashford's situation and where we're at with this. I talked about it before at the start of the show. And where Manchester United are currently at. It does look like they're having to surrender to the Rashford demands, though, and that they are going to have to loan him out again. So I think Manchester United situation with Anthony and Garnacho is positive. Rashford and Sancho, not so much so. Focus has to be on Rashford just doing what necessarily he needs to do to get a move through any point in this transfer window. And to Anthony and Garnacho, where Manchester United see the value and the opportunity, and this is the story as well. This has come from Gimme Sports, which says Manchester United have suffered a major setback in their bid to sell Rashford, as his desire to join Barcelona has resulted in the club deciding they would prefer to only pursue a loan deal if they have scope to do business in the final days of the summer transfer window. This again, he's just going to take Manchester United right to the end of the window again. I honestly don't know what we are going to do regarding Ruben Amorim and pre-season with Marcus Rashford. I'm struggling right now. I have no idea where we're going to go with this with Marcus, because that meeting will now happen. Obviously, United are clearly in no position to accept any bids whatsoever regarding Marcus Rashford. There's no one coming in for him. Well, the club's coming in, but Marcus isn't going to go there. So United have got no bargaining chip right now. There's nowhere to go for him. They're backed into a corner, and there is going to be a conversation between him and Ruben, and somehow we're going to have to try and get through this pre-season with him involved in the squad. I just pray that United see this situation that's developing here, that you could have Garnacho, Rashford and Jadon Sancho all in that pre-season squad if they don't get a move on with deals. And can you imagine the talking going on behind Ruben's back at that stage, and the issue that's going to cause within the Man United squad? You can say that these players are going to be professional, but you do get some arses in football, and you know if they feel like they've been hard done to, they are going to cause as much shit as they possibly can. They don't care. Rashford wants out. Ruben doesn't want him. Sancho just wants to take what he can for the money. And Ruben doesn't want Garnacho anywhere near his Man United squad. Can you imagine if we don't get business done and all them three are actually involved in pre-season? Problem. Get a move on United on them parts, I would think. Can we afford to leave them out of the pre-season tour? Would that be too much? If Rashford isn't going to go anywhere, then he only wants to go to Barcelona, then should we just say to him, well, you're not coming on tour then? Can we say that if we know that he's only got Barcelona on the line and that's where he wants to go? Can we say that he's not worth bringing on the pre-season tour, even if that is going to actually diminish his valuation? Can we afford to do that right now? That's a question, isn't it, as well? 75 million, 8 breaking the bank though. Is it 12 million more than the 2 10s we're buying for a guy that scored near 100 goals in 2 seasons? Still a bargain, says Mark Ash. Yep, it is. Let's see. Tom with a donated membership. Thank you for that, pal. Love that, buddy. Garnacho is pure profit sale. They would lose money to swap him. This is the thing with Garnacho. They do want to sell Garnacho. They do want to sell him to get the money in. It's more valuable in terms of other deals that they may want to do, which is why there probably hasn't been so much talk of any possible swap for Garnacho going forward. So, yeah, that's where the Garnacho situation is. He will be sold. Chris says, clubs in the League earn Serie A don't generate anywhere near the TV revenue and prize money that the EPL does. Betis still need to pay players, run the club, etc., etc. Their record transfer fee, I think, is approximately 21 million or something like that, I think it is. That's the highest they've ever gone for a transfer. So, yeah, you can see what we're dealing with them. there is going to have to be some compromise if they do get Antony on a permanent deal. I don't see how they afford him. Rashford is going to drag on all summer. He surely go on the tour to keep him fit. You would have thought so. It's going to be a very, very cold tour. It's going to be a bit of a frosty atmosphere, isn't it? You can guarantee that if all them players are on there anyway. Right, everybody, thank you so much for all of your contributions through the show. That pretty much wraps us up this morning. I just want to say a massive thank you again to the mods for helping out in the chats. Any new members, anyone who's newly subscribed, welcome along. If you haven't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button, please. Be part of the journey. We will be back later on with all of your updates regarding these situations and possibly more. But until then, thank you, everybody. Have a fantastic day. I will see you all later.